Welcome back to the courtroom of public opinion, besties. I hope your emotional support water bottles are full, because the level of delusion we're about to witness is actually lethal. Today, we're scrolling through 8 stories where the audacity isn't just a trait, it's a lifestyle. Grab your popcorn and stay hydrated, because these stories are truly rent-free in my head. Let's get into it. Most people would say sisters are supposed to be best friends, but OP and Carol haven't been close for years. While OP has a husband who knows every allergy and teacher's name, Carol's husband can't even remember which of his children takes medication. Carol spent the other week making subtle jabs, predicting that OP's husband would eventually cheat because it's supposedly in his blood. The tension finally boiled over during a family gathering when Carol followed OP into the kitchen to mock her postpartum exhaustion. She laughed while suggesting that OP would be crying over a failed marriage within 2 years. OP finally snapped and warned her sister to stop speaking before she revealed the truth about Carol's own husband and his history of infidelity. The room went silent as the family walked in just in time to see Carol burst into performative tears. When Carol's husband was told about the threat, he simply looked at his wife with exhaustion and walked away. Now the entire family is divided because Carol feels humiliated and claims OP ruined her marriage. Imagine losing your entire family simply because you were the only one brave enough to notice your grandmother was fading away. OP has always been inseparable from her grandmother, but the other month, the woman who once knew every corner of her own kitchen suddenly couldn't find her own Tupperware. The concern turned into true terror when her grandmother crashed her car into a camper and then, just the other day, looked around in total confusion because she had completely forgotten where OP lived. With her great-uncle in hospice and the family already grieving, OP reached out to her father in tears, begging for a private family meeting to get her grandmother the help she clearly needs. Instead of a conversation, her father went straight to social media and posted a vague status about memory loss that let the entire extended family fill in the blanks. The fallout was instantaneous and brutal. Rather than facing the medical reality, OP's grandparents accused her of being a traitor and a liar. Her grandfather even delivered the crushing blow that the entire family now hates her for speaking up. OP is now officially disowned and left wondering if her attempt to save her grandmother's life actually destroyed her own. Imagine opening your home to a grieving friend only to have her try to hijack your entire life. OP was 19 and living peacefully with 2 close friends when their mutual friend, M, went through a rough breakup. They agreed to let her crash on their couch for a few nights, but those few nights quickly turned into 4 months of M refusing to leave. She eventually suggested that they all move into a larger house together, but OP was already drowning because M spent every single day venting about her mental health, leaving OP with no time to study or work. The roommates finally helped M find her own apartment down the street, yet just days before the move, OP received a message from a stranger calling her a horrible person. It turned out M had been telling everyone that the roommates were being cruel and unwelcomed to her. When OP tried to calmly clear the air, M exploded, packed her bags, and vanished into the night. The peace lasted for a few months until M suddenly messaged the group wanting to apologize, but OP told the roommates they should probably keep their distance. Now M is telling their entire social circle that OP is a master manipulator who turned everyone against her. It is truly wild how some parents will sabotage their own children's futures just to prove a point about their lifestyle. OP was only a child when her mother passed away, but her mom had already made a controversial choice by leaving OP in the custody of her best friend, Katie, instead of her biological uncle, Nick. While Katie is a doctor who keeps OP enrolled in elite private schools and competitive sports, Uncle Nick is a cop who firmly believes that children should just be kids. The conflict reached a breaking point the other weekend when OP was visiting Nick's family. Nick started criticizing OP's busy schedule, claiming she had no freedom because of her high GPA requirements and constant dance rehearsals. He bragged that his homeschooled children were much happier because they only spent 2 hours a day on schoolwork. However, OP noticed a glaring problem with that logic. While she is preparing for college courses, her 10-year-old cousin still cannot multiply single digits, and her 14-year-old cousin struggles with basic math. When OP pointed out that she actually prefers her successful life over their lack of education and hobbies, Nick exploded. He called her a spoiled brat and demanded she be picked up early, leaving the family in total shambles. Now even Katie thinks OP should have just smiled and nodded instead of calling her cousins out. OP is a talented artist who agreed to do her younger cousin's wedding makeup as a heartfelt gift, saving the bride hundreds of dollars in the process. The two aren't incredibly close, but OP wanted to be supportive, so she turned down any payment and even scheduled a trial run to make sure everything was perfect. Everything seemed fine until the other week when the formal invitation finally arrived. When OP went to RSVP, she realized there was no option to bring her live-in girlfriend. Despite being part of the inner circle on the wedding day, OP was expected to show up and celebrate alone. She eventually texted her cousin to see if there was a mistake, but the bride claimed they were already at full capacity. Now OP is facing a room full of estranged relatives she usually avoids, all without her primary support system by her side. She feels like a hired hand rather than a guest, and the excitement for the celebration has completely vanished. She is considering doing the makeup as promised, but leaving the party before the cake is even cut. Imagine spending your entire evening serving your partner only to be told that your hard work is actually the problem. The other day, OP decided to go above and beyond for his girlfriend after they both had grueling shifts at work. He picked her up so she wouldn't have to suffer through a long bus ride, and once they got home, he handled almost all of the cooking. When dinner was over, his girlfriend mentioned she was far too exhausted to help, so she headed straight for the couch to relax. OP didn't mind at all and took it upon himself to handle the entire kitchen solo. As he moved through the chores, he put his headphones in and got into a rhythm of scrubbing and organizing. He eventually finished the job and sat down, expecting a bit of peace. But his girlfriend looked at him with a serious expression. She told him she wanted to ask a question but feared he would get angry. When he urged her to speak her mind, she asked why he didn't think to be quieter while she was napping on the couch. She wasn't being mean, but she was genuinely bothered by the sound of him vacuuming and banging the filter against the trash can to clean it. OP was absolutely stunned. He had just spent his entire night making her life easier, and now he was being interrogated for the volume of his labor. He snapped and began listing every single thing he had done for her that day, from the commute to the cooking. She fired back that he always brings up his chores to win arguments, claiming his helpfulness didn't give him a pass to be inconsiderate of her sleep. Now he feels insulted for being treated like a nuisance after acting like a personal chef and janitor. Next is an exclusive case. OP just realized that being a lifelong friend doesn't actually mean you're part of the inner circle. OP has known this girl since they were both in diapers, yet somehow she found out about the engagement through a social media post. When the bridal party was announced, OP wasn't on the list, finding out alongside the rest of the public. When OP finally asked why she was excluded after decades of history, the bride claimed she didn't even choose her own bridesmaids. Despite the distance, OP still agreed to attend the bachelorette party and even paid the deposit to show support. The other week, the reality of the situation finally set in while OP looked at the guest list. Realizing she was likely a pity invite and didn't actually enjoy the company of the other women, OP messaged the coordinator to quietly back out. Before OP could find the right words to tell the bride personally, the coordinator leaked the news. Now the bride is spiraling, calling OP cold and heartless while weaponizing their childhood memories to spark a guilt trip. She claims OP is ruining her experience, but OP is struggling to feel any remorse for leaving a party where she wasn't truly wanted. Moving on to next exclusive case. Imagine trusting your child with family only to find out they are feeding your 1-year-old greasy takeout and ignoring every safety rule you have ever set. OP thought she had the perfect childcare village until her mother-in-law decided that a mother's instructions were merely suggestions. The tensions started when OP noticed the baby's carefully prepared lunches were being tossed aside for fast food because the grandmother refuses to eat anything else. It spiraled when OP realized the woman was sharing utensils with the infant and leaving bathroom doors wide open for a crawling toddler to explore. When OP tried to fix the chaos by writing down a simple schedule to protect the baby's sleep, the grandmother claimed she just kept forgetting. OP began repeating herself every morning to ensure the baby stayed safe. But the other week, the situation took a dark turn. Instead of following the list, the mother-in-law went to OP's husband to claim she was being bullied and talked down to. Now the husband is questioning if OP is just a controlling helicopter mom, while the baby's health and routine are falling into complete disarray. OP is left wondering if she is losing her mind, or if her boundaries are being intentionally trampled. Before you close the tab and go touch some grass, I need the verdict. Who was the biggest red flag tonight? Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so you never miss a daily dose of Daylulu. We're out here trying to reach 100K, so help a bestie out. Stay iconic, stay unbothered, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.